Hi, good morning. I'm Bonnie Annis,
And I'm Stephanie Prestige.
and we're here from Lemoore. And today we're going to talk about a subject that is near and dear to our hearts, something we actually talk about a lot.
I kind of forced it a little.
Yeah, you
but
forced it a little,
in
but
a
that's
good
okay.
way.
It moves us forward, and I think that's where the advantage is of growing your team is to just be able to always be growing, always be expanding your horizons. So today we're going to talk about sustainability. And I think that it's easy for us to think sustainability, okay, that means your products are in recyclable packaging. That's an easy one, right? And a lot of people
Yeah.
can take that platform of environmental sustainability, but there's more to sustainability than just the environmental. There is a social sustainability, there's an economic sustainability, and then there is the, of course, environmental sustainability. So
That's
here,
awesome. You got it now.
I did.
love
I'm
it.
practicing,
Love it.
and forgive me clearing my throat. I have a little lozenge thing going on because we've all had some kind of respiratory thing that is hopefully on its way out. I'm looking forward to it being done. Um, but one of the things you've done for us at Lemoore, is to really help us understand that we are already embracing sustainability.
Absolutely.
We just didn't know
Yeah.
until you pointed at it and said that is social sustainability. And we can talk about that another day. In fact, we should. Should we not talk
Yeah.
about Lemoore's sustainability platform?
should.
I think we should. But today, and because we love, and I think that it's really common, especially in our industry, to not want to talk about ourselves so much. So today we're going to talk about S, but absolutely we'll come back and we'll talk about Lemoore and our sustainability platforms, especially in the summertime. It's so much easier to point and go that's all sustainability. But in the meantime, let's talk about S. For those that don't know, S is a science-based organic skincare brand, skin and body care brand from South Africa, a developing continent, developing country.
Yep.
And for them, it's always kind of been who they are. And when they approached Lemoore to become a distributor in Canada, they're a first distributor in Canada, the first to bring it here.
Yep.
We haven't stopped talking about it because what they're doing is quite revolutionary. So
And they
today
approached you for a while.
they did. It took
have
a
to be
year.
honest, yeah.
It took a year to kind of wrap things up. And I'm always going to be grateful to Michelle for having the patience with us to make sure it was a good fit for everybody. Michelle is
Yes.
awesome. And I look forward to meeting her one day. Hope you're watching this, Michelle. I am so excited to one day meet you, and thank you so much for the patience with us. So, I would like to ask you, Stephanie, how you see Esse's sustainability platform on all three of those pillars: social, environmental, and economic. So, let's first talk about the social sustainability pillar. And I would like to ask you how S focuses on that social pillar.
Quite a few ways, and you'll see me come back to it in a little bit. But I will start with talking about sustainability of every human being's skin health.
So, the person first.
Absolutely, and Trevor wants to make a significant impact globally, and we'll talk about that as well. Because a lot of times people think of significant, oh, they want to take over the world. No, absolutely not. That's not sustainable. Um, but to truly make a global, sustainable impact on people understanding their skin health and coming back to evolutionary first principles. Um, what is happening, and the science, the proof is here, the science is there, especially with learning so much now about the human microbiome and the skin microbiome specifically, is these quick fixes, these tear it down to build it back up approach in some ways. What is the impact of your long-term skin health?
The
How is
strip and
this?
replace philosophy
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
absolutely, and I think we're starting to see that. I see that in conversations that I have with estheticians and skin
Mm-hmm.
therapists, is that this strip and replace philosophy, we're starting to see that that has long-term consequences.
Yes.
You cannot do deep feels as frequently
They're happening.
as they currently are happening and not expect it to cause damage in the long run.
Absolutely. And the impact of exactly what you're doing as well. How's that overall impacting you and your skin health, and what we now know about the anatomy and physiology of skin, and the importance of your skin microbiome, and the importance of the barrier. And something I have always taught is, why do human beings have skin? This is our protective organ to the outside world. We no longer have fur, we have skin as our exterior, our protective barrier to the world. It is meant to be there, and it's meant to be fully protecting you. But when you take a piece away, the question then lies in of how well is it
Mm-hmm.
protecting you, and how every time you take a piece away, how is that affecting your long-term chronological aging?
So S's point of view is to take a long-term approach
Mm-hmm.
to skin health,
Absolutely.
to take the approach that we want to have healthy skin. Healthy skin is beautiful skin,
Yeah.
100%. Healthy skin is skin that doesn't have inflammatory conditions. Healthy skin doesn't have rosacea, doesn't have acne, and doesn't have signs of aging that are more than your chronological
That's right.
age.
And to add to that, when we talk about a solution side of things, it's stop stripping it,
Mm-hmm.
stop over cleansing it,
Mm-hmm.
stop over exfoliating it, protect it.
Right.
Do
It
more
seems pretty
protecting
simple.
it.
Seems
Yeah.
pretty simple. It is hard though because the textbooks in schools, the the way the industry has been run,
Yeah.
and to be clear, the industry has been run by corporations, by skincare conglomerates that absolutely want to sell lots of products.
Profit.
Profit,
Profit over.
profit over people.
Yeah.
So that then takes us to economic sustainability.
Yeah.
So knowing what's out there, knowing what skin therapists are learning in school, how can a skincare company affect the economy or affect economic sustainability, have an impact on economic sustainability in a positive way? How does that work? How is that realistically going to happen?
One, don't try to take over the entire market.
What are we
That's
doing
one.
today, Pinky?
Yeah.
Pinky.
I
Trying to
like
take
that.
over the world. No, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to take over. What's Trevor Stein's goal for S internationally?
10% of the market.
10%.
And that will make a global impact. Only 10% will make a significant global
Absolutely.
impact. It's not about taking over everything. It's not profit. It's people first. And also, economically speaking, is fair trade. Um,
The people who provide the ingredients.
how is every person in the supply chain of creation to formulation to manufacturing to distribution,
Mm-hmm.
how is every single person impacted along the way, and is it of a global fair economical growth? And I mean global, because what one country sees of fair wages to another country is different. No, we need a global impact, a global perspective of what is fair completely around the world in every single country.
I think it even goes beyond wages. I think
Absolutely.
fair trade happens at every level of a company's way of doing business. And I think what I keep coming back to is a conversation I had with Trevor um, when we first connected, after I'd first met him. Thanks so much for trusting us, Trevor. Thank you so much for believing in our ability to represent your brand here in Canada. And he said, really glad. And then he said, it takes 5 years to build a market. Take your time.
Yes.
That is sustainability too. That is also under the umbrella of fair trade.
Yes.
So it's not always just about the person in the field picking the herbs and putting them in baskets and bringing them back to the plant and selling them by the pound or by the ounce, by the gram, whatever. It is about all the people you deal with and dealing with them sustainably.
Yep.
So I feel like they really epitomize that economic sustainability in everything that they do. And we all have our stories and experiences with us that way. Okay, so what about the big one, the one that we know the most about? What about environmental sustainability? How does S really approach that?
In many ways, so I'll be careful.
It's big, isn't it?
Be careful where I go with this, but I'll come back quickly to fair trade because we just finished on it, and I feel like it comes back into here where another challenge we see globally in the cosmetic industry is we know the size. If you look at the global size of this industry by the billions and billions of dollars.
Billions.
For some of these companies that want high profits, how much extraction of raw material is happening? Is it happening at a state, which we already know this answer, of deforestation of our rainforests? We've already seen it.
Palm oil
plantations go in place of wild rainforest and biodiversity is destroyed. That's not new. So how do we then extract raw materials in a sustainable way? And that's where fair trade comes actually into every pillar. If fair trade is done properly, it's every pillar of sustainability, because it's the social impact of health and well-being, it's the community involvements, it's raw materials being sourced sustainably so they're always there and always thriving at their biodiversity level that they're supposed to be. Not just, we can take this much, but if we leave a little bit, they won't all die. No. What's like the true biodiverse
What is
way?
that level of sustainability? And
Properly.
Everything is done with care and concern.
From the start, from the get-go. And also, another huge one we see in this industry as well is waste. Garbage and
hair
more.
Industry especially, and they are aware of that too.
And ours too.
Green Circle salons are well aware of the amount of waste that goes into landfill from hair services. So Green Circle
services. Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's an impact as well. So so some companies are like, okay, we'll make everything out of plastic and make it recyclable. Okay, but let's time out on that, because you have to look at the individual countries' system of waste management. Not every country can recycle every type of plastic.
I've heard the number, and I don't I don't claim to be a specialist in this, but I've heard the number that only about 20% of plastics are actually recycled.
Yes, I think it's a little less, but yes, you're in the ballpark.
I just knew that number that I heard seemed quite low, but I would love to hear from someone who has a more specific number. My brain just doesn't hold all the information, but it is low. So plastic recycling is a great idea.
It is an idea,
in
but
action we don't have the infrastructure to necessarily recycle it as much as we would like to.
Yeah. So Trevor took it another step completely and looked at the entire global economy, and it's like, okay, how do we then deal with this? How do we source in a sustainable way and more of a closed loop?
So let's talk about the packaging of it first.
Yeah.
Let's stay in that packaging zone.
Okay.
So what does S do for packaging to make it sustainable?
Glass is infinitely. I know I'm holding it the wrong way. Sorry.
This is the sensitive cleanser, which I think is my actual favorite.
It's a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah.
It's like our top seller here so far.
It is
for
the
cleansers.
top seller. This is the tester version of the sensitive cleanser. And at first, I will confess, I was like, ooh, glass. And what I learned from there is that it is infinitely recyclable.
Yes. No matter what country you are in.
it can be recycled.
Absolutely.
So it's good for the planet that way.
And I'll be honest, better like knock on wood somewhere. I'll knock on my head because not wood near me. I've dropped one once and it didn't break.
It is really
strong.
solid.
But as I say that, watch, I go home now.
And I imagine that the color of the glass also reflects the hurdle technology of the preservative system
to keep it.
To keep it, because it won't be oxidized the same way.
Yes.
Because of the tinted glass.
Yes.
So it all brings value. So the packaging in the retail sizes is glass.
But let's point it out because let's point it out because let's just be very transparent. You can see the pump is plastic, and back bar you're probably about to say is plastic as well. Containers. They use primary plastics because when you get into recycled and post-secondary plastics, they then cannot be reused again. Primary plastics can be reused, can be broken down, can be put into new plastics again. So that's why for that type of plastic.
Because you can't get a glass pump.
No, not yet. I know Trevor. He's probably trying to...
I know. He's got a lot of ideas.
Yeah, he's probably already looking into that. But as of yet, no.
Okay, so then in the back bar situation, what is happening with the plastic containers in back bar?
They are also primary plastics as well, but the reason is they're that way instead of glass is because the sizes of the packaging are much, much larger. One.
So you need fewer of them.
You need fewer of them, but then also to it's not drop and break, but it's also your ingredients as well to keep them stable much longer. And a lot of estheticians leave them out near windows and leave their packaging out near sunlight. So this is okay for a little bit, but don't store it don't leave it outside. For the hurdle technology to be able to stay longer in much bigger packaging.
I'd like to have a longer conversation about hurdle technology. There's so much we can discuss when it comes to Esse, and it's funny, we do these brief videos every 2 weeks. We do videos on LinkedIn every 2 weeks, and I think our biggest challenge is to narrow it down because there's so much to talk about when it comes to the products, the people, the manufacturing, and just the whole ethic of Esse. But I think what's important is that they cover all the pillars of sustainability, the social, the economic, and the environmental pillars.
And I want to add one more, just to be clear on it too. So they also work with a company, like a nonprofit organization called Clean Hub. They're a global company. But what they do is work diligently every day to extract plastic from garbage, landfills, all that different stuff, to prevent it from getting into our oceans. But what Esse does is for every 1 kilogram of plastic they use, they pay Clean Hub to extract 2 kilograms of plastic. So they try to double...
To offset.
Yeah, they double their take back of waste to the 1 kilogram that they do use.
And there's a lot, and we welcome any questions on the subject. And if we don't know the answers, you can be sure that we're going to get them for you. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope this answers some of your questions about Esse's sustainability platform. There's more to talk about